So there's also another output option that you can have for the schematic interface, and it's actually the sort of way that you can actually document your component layout. The way that you could do that is you can go ahead and go to File, and then go to Titles and Sheet Setup. So with this, what you can actually do is create these sorts of very engineering looking printed sheets, and we'll go ahead and get started. So we go ahead and go to Title Block Editor. And this is ANSI, this is bottom right. So ANSI stands for American National Standards Institute. This is kind of like a go-to way of actually documenting your circuits. So if you can actually go over here and you double click, you can actually change the text if you want to. In my case, I went ahead and did that. And I went ahead and edited things accordingly. So with that in mind, let me just go ahead and just hit cancel here, and let me just go ahead and show you what it's going to look like if I just go ahead and export this. So I'm going to go ahead and print settings. Actually, not print settings. Go to title blocks. I want the top left to be none. I want the top right to be the ANSI top right standard. I want the bottom left to be nothing, and I want the bottom right to be the ANSI bottom right standard. I'm going to hit OK with this, and then if I go to Titles and Sheet Setup, and I say Display Titles and Display Sheet, and then hit OK, and then if I go to Preview, what it's going to look like is that if you print this out, it's going to look this very fancy engineering-esque sort of print layout where it's going to go ahead. You can actually put out displays here, so you can actually put words here. I already wrote down just like a happy birthday, just for example, drawing number 7, and a variety of things you can also add as well. And I've also put the name right here, 555 timer. So you can do that. If you want to go ahead and print these out, and you can say print current sheet, print all, yada yada whatsoever. So that's another way of exporting things out if you want to go ahead and document this schematic. Alright, so another thing to keep in mind is that maybe at some point in time you might have so many different components on your circuit, and you want to actually keep it all organized and actually have a bill of materials for these parts, and also just a listing of what R1 means or what R2 means. So if you go ahead and set this to 10K, you can figure out that on your board, if it says R1, you know that it's a 10K resistor. The way you can do that is you go to not view objects right here, then go to bill of materials. You can actually create a bill of materials for your parts. So what I already have here is a set columns, but let me go ahead and just delete all this just to go ahead and show you what we can do. So you can group the rows by the components, set the row height accordingly, and then you can go ahead and add columns to go ahead and describe what you want. So first one, I want to show the reference description, so that's what R1 is. Then I can go ahead and set show value, add to the second column now as value. I want the third one to be part type, so that's the third one. And I want the next one to be called the part. And then I want that one afterwards to be the number of pins. And then I want the next one after that to be pattern. I want the one on top of that to be quantity. And then you can go ahead and hit export to file. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the desktop, and it's going to export into the CSV file. I'm going to hit save. And it should go ahead. Actually, I need to name it. So I'm going to go ahead and name this 555 timer build of materials. Hit save. And go ahead, use the common divider, so that's how it is by default, so hit OK. And now if you go ahead and go to the Excel file, let me go ahead and locate that, 555 timer build of materials. If I open this up, it should list out all the parts that I use. So if you put the value right here, so if I put 10K right here, it actually lists that out. So I now know that C1 is a capacitor, it's a part type 1, and here's the pattern for it, and there's one of them that you need. I'm not sure what this 25 is right here, but that was a little, maybe it's probably a little bug right here, but it's right there. So you can go ahead and actually export these out, and list all these parts. If you want to go ahead and print this out, so you can actually see the little descriptions as you're putting parts together. You can go ahead and do that. Alright, so another fun option that you can have with this is that you can not only just export this out the Gerber files and make it so that it's manufacturer ready, but you can actually also print out the black screen right here that you can actually use if you want to actually have as a reference for the general sizing. So you can go to File, and then you can go to Preview, and you can actually see what it's going to look like if you print this out on a typical piece of paper. If you want, you can go ahead and say print in black only. If you want to do that option, you can see print in black only, and then you can say you want to show the the current. Or you can show the bottom, so you can actually print either the top or the bottom. Print in black only will actually set that option, so you can actually just cover everything up if you need to. So that's another way of doing it. If you could hit print, you could save, and whatever. This is the scale, and the print scale is 100%. Always make sure that scale is 100%, otherwise it's not going to be the real size of your part.